Hi, today we're going to talk about emptiness in a coffee cup. Hi, today I'm going to try to describe emptiness using this coffee cup. It's something that I was thinking about today, so I thought I would try to share it with some people. What color is this coffee cup? If I were to ask you what color this coffee cup is, you would probably say blue with flowers. And if you were to ask me what color the coffee cup is, I would say that it is completely black. It is pitch black in a way that's almost indescribable because we often don't experience how black this cup actually is. So the cup itself is completely black. The color blue arrives because light hits the cup, bounces off the cup and hits my eye, goes through my eye to the retina, and the retina converts that into a signal for my brain that tells me blue or flowers. So the cup itself has no color. Nothing has any color. Color is a representation generated by the mind of the viewer expressed on the object itself. For example, if someone who was colorblind saw this cup, they might say that it's blue, but to them blue would be a different blue than the blue that we see. So the object itself has no color. How can we test that? We can test that by closing our eyes and asking what color this cup is. If you had never seen the cup, if I go grab a different cup and ask you what color it is, there's a 0% chance you would answer correctly what color that cup is unless it was a random guess. That's because color only exists as an interpretation through experience of the viewer. That's our first sense. The sense of sight is complete trickery. So all objects are empty of sight. The second thing is hearing. Can you hear this cup? You can hear it hit the table. You can hear me sip from it. So you might know that there's a cup there. You might think that you know that there's a cup there, but what sound does the cup actually make? The cup is actually silent, obviously. The cup has no capacity for sound except for in relation to other objects. If I hit it on the table, if I ding it, then it has the ability to, what we say, create sound. This is the old story of if a tree falls in a woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? The explanation for emptiness as it pertains to our sense of hearing is that sound waves emanate from objects that are hit or set on a table, but it only converts to what we call sound once it hits and impinges upon my eardrum and vibrates it back and forth. That sends a signal to my brain that says, oh, ping. If a tree falls in the woods and there aren't any eardrums and there's no recording devices, then the waves are sent out from when the tree crashes, but that's not sound until it's received and interpreted by the sense of hearing. So the cup is empty of sight and the cup is empty of hearing. And you can probably see where this is going with the rest of them. But so the cup is empty of the sense of smell. Even though I can hold it up and smell coffee, does the cup smell? No. Particles from the coffee are elevated by the steam and the coffee and the heat, and it brings up the particles. Those particles are accepted into our noses, and our noses send a signal to our brain saying, coffee. And so without me here to smell it, the particles would just go up and then dissipate and fall, and there would be no smell of coffee. So the cup is empty of smell as well. Same exact thing with taste. I can taste the coffee, and it's pretty good. It's an organic brand that we bought at the store, trying it out. And so I can taste it only because I have taste buds on my tongue that react with my brain and tell me, ooh, good coffee. The relationship between taste and emptiness is very obvious because each person's taste is so completely different. Some people hate coffee. Some people live by coffee. And so if a person who hates coffee tasted this, they might react negatively and think that it's bitter. I take it black, so they might think that it's just awful. But I drink coffee and I love it. So that's the easiest one probably to understand that taste is empty, because each person views it so independently that there's clearly no intrinsic taste value to the cup or the cup of coffee. There's nothing in there that's coffeeness except when I taste it and react to it. And the final sense is touch. So I can touch the cup, I can feel it, I can lift it and understand that it has a weight. But if I don't touch it, then does the cup even exist there for sure? The only way that I can be sure that the cup exists or be sure of its weight or how it feels is to touch it. I can examine it and compare it to things that I've touched in the past and make an intelligent guess about what it would feel like to pick up that cup. But again, if you just imagine closing your eyes and then I could move the cup over here and then I wouldn't even know where the cup is at. If I brought someone in and said, find the cup, they couldn't, based on touch until they found it randomly groping around the room. And so again, the cup is empty of the value of touch without some force interacting with it, which is me. So if we understand that the cup itself is empty of sight, it's empty of sound, it's empty of smells, it's empty of tastes, and it's empty of touch, what we can understand from that is that that applies to all things. Not only is this cup pitch black, but so is the tree outside in my yard, so is the grass, so is my dog, and so am I. The only reason that the grass is considered green is because light bounces off of it and we see it as green. There's no intrinsic color green in that grass without our reception of it and our perception of it. And so one of the lessons that we learn through meditation and through the insights that come from meditation is that all things are empty of that type of intrinsic value. The only actual value in this universe is the value of interaction with the mind. It's all present in the mind, it all exists in the mind, and it all doesn't exist in the mind. So then what does that mean? Does that lead to nihilism? Does that lead to a feeling of hopelessness, or everything's just black and lost and goth emo talk? It doesn't really. Some people get on the boat far enough to make that realization of emptiness and then fall into despair and then call it nihilism, and they're aware that everything is empty, and so then therefore they think everything is nothingness. It's not nihilism, it's more of an existentialism. It's the exact existence of these things and the perception of them and the interaction between our perceptions and our ability to relate to one another, even though we are empty of any intrinsic value. That's the actual purpose of meditation. And that once you get to that point, the sky is prettier, the leaves are prettier, the grass is prettier, and everybody that you interact with is more important, not less important. So emptiness is the lack of intrinsic value. That's what we mean when we say emptiness. So the cup is empty because there is no seeing the cup without someone to see it. There is no hearing the cup without someone hearing it. There is no smell in this cup unless someone smells it. There is no touch of the cup unless someone touches it. And there is no taste of this cup unless someone tastes from it. That's what it means to be empty. That is what emptiness is. And once you realize that the cup is empty, just like in the Matrix, how he says there is no spoon, there is no you either, there is no self, there is no time, there is no free will. All of that is an illusion based on our senses, just like an empty cup. So that's it. That's the lesson for today. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, share the video with anyone you think might enjoy it, might find things beneficial. And that's the only way that I'll complete my mission of helping people deal with depression and anxiety. And now it's actually empty. Thanks.